Yo, what is going on, guys? It is Ricky Templeton back here with another video, and today's video I got for you is my Little League World Series predictions for 2022. Yes, guys, I am a huge Little League fan, and yes, I will be at this year's Little League World Series, so why not make a video about my predictions of who's going to win the whole thing. So, without further ado, let's get into those predictions. Hold on. YouTube is telling me that over 85% of you guys are not subscribed to my YouTube, so before this video starts, make sure you guys leave a like, comment, share, and then most importantly, subscribe. Now back to the video. Alright, so I have a little criteria list on how I determine each winner of each game. So, without further ado, let's get into it. First off, we have regional play. Did they play good in regionals? What teams were they playing in regionals? Do they have pitching? Can they hit? How many runs do they score per game? Stuff like that. What did they do in regionals to get them here? That's what I'm looking at. Second is region history. The region that they played in. Have they been successful in the Little League World Series in the past? Have they not? That's also what I'm looking at. And this next one goes in hand with the region history. It is state history. Has that state been successful going into the Little League World Series? For example, let's look at West. Let's look at Hawaii. Right now, I think they are a powerhouse in the Little League World Series right now. They've been successful in the past. They've won Little League World Series in the past. This is what I'm looking at. Fourth and final criteria list to determine what winners I took. Opponent. Now, just like the last three, I could determine that this team would beat so-and-so team. So, for example, let's look at Metro facing West. Now, since the Metro is facing West, I would probably choose West in that case scenario. But if Metro was playing a team like Midwest, I would probably go with Metro. So, it's all about that too, the opponent they're facing. But, since we got that criteria out of the list, you know what I'm looking for. Now, let's get to the US side of the bracket. US bracket, we got game number 2 of the Little League World Series. We have Southeast versus New England. Now, Tennessee team, they were here last year and they did not do so great. But this New England team, they did lose a game in regional play, but came all the way back from the losers bracket and eventually beat Maine to win the New England Regional. Yes, the team from Massachusetts. Both of these teams, this was kind of a tough first game, I'm not gonna lie. But overall, with the experience and regional play, along with the history, I will take Southeast in the first game of the US bracket. Now on to game number 4 of the Little League World Series. Game number 4 features the powerhouse Hawaiian team of the West region versus the controversial ending of the Northwest region. Washington beat Oregon. Was it a fair or foul ball? You can see that in my next episode of Climb the Ladder. That would be episode 3. Whether or not, if it's a fair or foul ball, and whether or not Oregon should be still playing for the Northwest Regional Championship. But other than that, Washington will face off against Hawaii, and this is pretty easy. The West region has been successful. The West region has not lost the first game in the Little League World Series in I don't know how long, so I'm going with Hawaii in game number 4. Game number 6, you see the Great Lakes versus Midwest. Now, this was a very tough game. These are two regions where they've been iffy. They've been tend to win a couple games, and they've been tend to lose a lot of games. So, both taking in their history, both taking in their state history, as the Midwest region will be represented by Iowa. Now, I saw both teams play in regionals. Indiana, they've won every single game. Iowa, they lost to Missouri, I believe, in the regionals, but they came back and they eventually beat Missouri in the championship game. And with their history, the Midwest hasn't had many successful runs in the Little League World Series. So, without further ado, I think the Great Lakes are going to take Game 6 in the U.S. bracket. Now, let's get on to the next U.S. game. In game number 8, we see the Mid-Atlantic region versus the Southwest. Now, Mid-Atlantic, they are very also both sides of the spectrum, as they've had some great teams. Recently, they've had a 2016, they've had Maine and Well win the Little League World Series. And also in 2015, the year before that, they saw a team from Redland, PA go to the World Championship game. Now on the other end, we've had Mid-Atlantic teams, they've gone 0-2 or 1-2, whatever it may be. So, this is a very iffy region, as well as Southwest. We've seen them do things like win the championship, and we've seen them lose the first 2 games. Now, taking in their state history, this team from Pennsylvania, from the Mid-Atlantic, they showed out in regionals. I'm not gonna lie, they showed out. So, and we have the Southwest region. We have Pure Land, Texas, the powerhouse from Texas. And I'm not gonna lie to you guys, this team is pretty good, I'm not gonna lie. And they have the history. This is their 4th regional championship, Southwest Regional Championship. And this team could hit, this team could pitch. So that is why I took Pure Land, Texas to win Game 8 of the Little League World Series. Now that we have 4 games in the books, we have the first game for the Mountain region, and this is a brand new region. We have 2 new regions. We have the Metro and Mountain against Southeast. Now, like I said, Southeast has a history, and they also have experience. Tennessee is not going to take this Utah team lightly. Granted, this is Utah's first ever time in the Little League World Series. Now, I'm taking that into consideration. State history. This is their first time in the Little League World Series. Tennessee, this is their 2nd time in the Little League World Series. The same Tennessee team, back-to-back years. They have the experience. Utah does not. Playing on the big stage, Tennessee does. And with that, I'm going to say Tennessee wins this game, and the Utah team is in the loser's bracket and loses their first Little League World Series game in Mountain region history. Now, on to Game 12. We have the winner, Game 4, which was the Hawaiian team of the West region, versus the New York State champions of the Metro region. Now, granted, this is the Metro region's first ever game as well, and the New York team played pretty well in regionals. I'm not gonna lie, they took down the New Jersey Toms River East Little League for the inaugural Metro region championship. And like I said before, the Mountain region, this is the Metro region's first ever game in the Little League World Series against a prestigious region who has won numerous U.S. championships and numerous World Championships. So, with that being said, West Hawaiian team showed dominance in the regional play. New York, I'm not gonna say that they fully beat the team that they were playing. They were lucked out with a few errors and a few key mistakes. I'm not gonna take anything away from them. They won the regional, they won it. They have some pitching. Now, Hawaiian has depth too. And that's one of the reasons why I'm going to take the West region in this game. Let's go on to game number 14, where we had the losers of Game 4 versus the losers of Game 6, which in my bracket, it holds the Northwest versus the Midwest. Now, I did see Washington play in the regionals. They have they can swing it. I'm not gonna lie, they can swing it. And they can pitch. And Iowa, the Midwest region just doesn't have the history of winning. And I don't see it happening again this year. So that is the reason why I picked Washington to win against Midwest in the elimination game of Game 14 of the Little League World Series, and they will move on to live another day. Game 16 features the loser of Game 2 versus the loser of Game 8. New England versus Mid-Atlantic. Now, this Pennsylvania team has the potential to win this game, but I've seen this Massachusetts team playing in the regional losers bracket. They lost their second game, and they came all the way back to win the championship game. I think this is going to happen again in the Little League World Series. I think they are going to lose their first game, and they are going to bring back their best pieces and just play all out baseball. So that is why I have New England winning against Mid-Atlantic in Game 16 of the Little League World Series. Here we have Game 18 of the Little League World Series. Features the loser of Game 10 versus the winner of Game 14. Now in this case, that would be the Mountain region versus the Northwest region. Now, Mountain region's first ever time being in the Little League World Series. You got to take this into consideration. You got to. Most first-time teams in the Little League World Series do not succeed. I'm telling you, they do not succeed, especially since Utah has never won a regional in their last region that they played in. They've never won a region in the West region. That's what I'm talking about. So they won this inaugural Mountain region with not very good state teams. They did this for a reason. They did this for other states to get to Williamsport. They want variety. They don't want the same teams winning it every single year. This is exactly why they wanted to expand the Little League World Series. But will that create success? No, it won't. They're still going to see these teams continuing to lose games because there's no way that these teams can compete with other teams that play year-round. So, the team from Washington, they beat the Mountain region. They beat the team from Utah, and Utah goes 0-2 in Williamsport. Game 20 features the loser of Game 12 versus the winner of Game 16. And in this bracket, that is the Metro and New England. I think New England goes on again. I do. I think the Massachusetts team plays all out like they did in regionals. The Metro team, I think they don't get bailed out as much in the Little League World Series as they did in regionals. I don't see them hitting that well in the Little League World Series. So I believe that the Metro team will go 0-2 and they will fall to New England. Game number 22 features the winner of Game 6 and the winner of Game 10. This is the winner's bracket semifinal game versus Great Lakes and Southeast. Now I'm just going to keep it short and sweet. Indiana versus the Southeast team of Tennessee. Tennessee versus Indiana in the past, it's been Tennessee. Southeast again. And it's going to be Southeast again. I believe that Southeast will win 3 games in a row to advance to the winner's bracket final. Game 24, the U.S. bracket, features the winners of Game 12 and the winners of Game 8. And in this case, that is Team West versus Team Southwest. Now this was a hard one because both teams have been successful in the past and both states have been successful in the past. And I think this will be the closest game in Williamsport. I really do. I really do. Hawaii's pitching, along with Pearland's hitting, I think balances out, and it's going in for a close game. But eventually, I see the team from Hawaii with the experience that they have at coaching as well. I've heard that the coaching is the same as the team from 2018 who won the Little League World Series. So I believe since they have that experience, they will win close games like this. So they are heading to the winner's bracket final to face Southeast. Now we have Game 26. We have the loser, Game 22, versus the winner, Game 20. Great Lakes versus New England. I think New England scratches it again. I think they are playing balls to the wall and playing their best baseball they have the whole summer. This is why I believe that they will win 3 straight elimination games to head to the losers bracket, not final, but semifinals, to beat Great Lakes, Indiana. Their run for the summer has come to an end. Game 28, Southwest versus Northwest. Very, very tough game. Washington can hit, but I think their luck has ran out, and their bats have ran out against the powerful Pure Land, Texas. And Pure Land, Texas will not lose 2 games in a row. So that's why I have Southwest beating Northwest in Game 28. Now, we have Game 30 of the Little League World Series. It is the winner's bracket final. Whoever wins this game goes to the U.S. Championship. And it is between Tennessee and Hawaii. And I think the lack of size and the lack of timely hitting, I think, from Tennessee will eventually run out. And I think the West, again with the experience, the West team, Hawaiian team is a powerhouse, man. I'm telling you. West is going to the U.S. Championship. Flying Hawaiians are going to the U.S. Championship in this year's Little League World Series. Now, Game 32 of the U.S. bracket. We have winner of Game 28, winner of Game 26. And it's Southwest versus New England. And like I said, Pure Land, Texas ain't losing again. I think the run for the Massachusetts team has run out. They've won 3 straight elimination games to come so very close to the U.S. Championship. And eventually, Southwest beats New England to reach the losers bracket final for a right to go to the U.S. Championship. And I do believe that Southeast loses this game as well with Tennessee, and I think Pure Land, Texas is on their way to facing West again for the U.S. Championship. And for Game 36 of the Little League World Series, we have the U.S. Championship between the Hawaiian team of the West region versus Pure Land, Texas of the Southwest region. Now, both of these squads have faced off in the past when it comes to regions. West versus Southwest is nothing new. But, again, the Hawaiian team is a powerhouse. And the Hawaiian team has beat Pure Land, Texas in this bracket before. And I eventually will think that it will be a second time they beat them, which will see West, the Hawaiian team, in the World Championship game for the Little League World Series. This has been the predictions for my US bracket, and now let's get on to the international bracket. On to the international side of the bracket, we have game number 1, Latin America versus the Caribbean, and the Latin American team for this year is Nicaragua, and Caribbean is Curacao. So, this being a very, very tough first matchup, very, very tough first game. Curacao has the experience, Nicaragua does not. And I say Curacao is winning this. Without a doubt, Curacao is winning this solely on the experience. They've won 2 World Series championships, and this past World Series where they were in, they won an international championship. So I have Curacao in game number 1 of the League World Series. Game 3 is Australia versus Canada. Not much to really say about this game. Australia did not have little to any success in the Little League World Series. I think they've lost their first round game every single time except once in this Little League World Series. And Canada has been also hit or miss, but in the history of the Little League World Series, Canada has beaten Australia anytime they've played each other, so that's why I'm going to take Canada. Game number 5, we have Italy featuring the Europe-Africa region versus the Asia-Pacific region. And I'm going to take the Asian Pacific region in this game. It is featured of Chinese Taipei or Taiwan. And Taiwan is a powerhouse in the past World Series, but this isn't talking about the 70s, or 60s, or 80s. I'm talking about now, and Chinese Taipei has a very mid record, but I'm still going to take Asian Pacific in this first game. Game number 7, this was, I think, the toughest game, the toughest first game, as well as the first game of the Little League World Series. Game 7, Puerto Rico versus Mexico. Now, this is Puerto Rico's first entry automatically into the Little League World Series, along with Panama. Mexico has had a lot of success, which is why I'm going to take Mexico in this first round matchup. Okay, so we have game number 9, Caribbean versus Panama. Panama in recent years has been really well, especially with Agua Dulce Little League. They've had very success in the past, being a runner-up finish, and I think the second to last time they've been here. So that is why I'm going to take Panama in a very risky game here against Curacao. But the Curacao team is very small, and that is why I have them beating Curacao.